Paragraph 8, capital accounts. A capital account shall be maintained in the name of each partner. Any increase or decrease in the value of the partnership on any valuation date shall be credited or debited respectively to each partner's capital account in proportion to the sum of all partner accounts on that date. Each partner's capital contribution to or capital withdrawal from the partnership shall be credited or debited respectively to the partner's capital account. Each member will have their own account. So just to help run everything, because if we have one person putting $50 a month and another person putting $200 a month, when it's time for us to cash out, then it can't just be set out evenly. You'll get from what you put in. So everything will be given out through proportion. So we just have to have that clause in there. That's the same thing for gains, same thing for losses. All right, so just because somebody's putting in more than somebody else, when the time that the loss comes, it's going to be based on percentage and not a particular amount. That's just keeping everything fair and on level ground. Management. Paragraph 9, management. Each partner shall participate in the management and conduct of the affairs of the partnership. Except as otherwise determined, all decisions shall be made by the partners based on seniority. Me and the brother True were talking about this the other day, and one thing that we have to know is, again, with the SEC, they do watch investment clubs. And it's important that every partner plays a role, because the thing is, if one person isn't doing anything and just depositing their money, then it could be looked at as this is a mutual fund where we're giving advice on certain stocks and bonds that people should buy, which is against the law, against the rules of the SEC, and we can have some type of problems because of that. So even if it's not a major role that everyone's playing, everybody does have to have a hands-on approach with the education and just the management of this group.
So can you explain what some of those hands-on would be and would include?
Well, we have the education part of this, which is it's two parts. We have the investing, and then we have the education. One of the bigger goals with this investment club is, by the time that we dissolve the group, it's a goal that every member has enough knowledge with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, just all of the different business classes to be able to do this on their own. So when we have the classes, we need active participation from everyone. Okay?
Where the class is going to be located?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Where the class is going to be located?
Oh, just like this. We'll have classes on the phone, in the meeting, and through video conference, just like this. We might dedicate just a certain amount of time with the meetings to just share the things that we learned.
Also, independent studies.
Independent studies also. Actually, Brother True had suggested, aside from the investment classes, that we give classes on just money management and other things that some people may be looking for. We may not all need it, but for the members that do need it or do want it, they can find it through here, right?
True. I'll take that. Sure.
So,
I got you.
Paragraph 10 is sharing of profits and losses. Net profits and losses of the partnership shall inure to and be borne by the partners in proportion to the value of each of their capital accounts. That's what I just mentioned with the capital accounts. Losses, gains will be distributed through whatever you've been putting on, through percentage-wise instead of dollar amount. Paragraph 11, books of account. Books of account of the transactions of the partnership shall be kept and at all times be available and open to inspection and examination by any partner anytime. Very important. every partner has access to the books. You want to wake up 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and you want to look just like, oh, let's see how much money I made. You can do that. You know, it's to protect us all. So,
How is that going to be established? Is it going to be online? How is that going to be established?
well, it's going to be two different accounts. We're going to have the bank account, and we're also going to have the brokerage account. The brokerage account is what we'll be doing the investing within stocks, options, ETFs, things of that nature through. And the bank account is what we'll be using for things like real estate, or to purchase tax liens. So
we're going to have access to whatever bank account from whatever bank we chose.
yes, we'll have access to it, but in terms of withdrawing money from it, that is not something that everybody has access to. I'm actually going to meet with the bank, and I would like a design where, I'm sorry, if everyone could just put their phone on mute, please. It's kind of a lot of background noise. Thank you. But with withdrawing of the money, that's not something that any one individual could just go and do. They'll need several partners at the time to be able to sign that money away. Just again for added protection for everyone. Any questions? So far we're good? Okay. Paragraph 12, annual accounting. Each calendar year, a full and complete account of the condition of the partnership shall be made to the partners. We'll need this for tax information and just to stay on our heels, know exactly what's going on with our club, because that's exactly what this is. This is our club. Everybody plays a role, and we'll just continue to run it that way.
So at the end of the year, we'll be getting like 1099s and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yes, the brother that I mentioned earlier, Quasi, who's an accountant, he's gonna be able to help us out a lot with just the accounting things and making sure we have everything we need for our taxing. What's up, B? Paragraph 13, bank account. The partnership may select a bank for the purpose of opening a bank account. Funds in the bank account shall be withdrawn by check signed by the president, vice president, and treasurer. We can discuss that further if somebody feels that we need more members to do it or different members besides just the officers. That's something that can be discussed, and we can decide as a group on what will be best. Because again, we want everybody comfortable knowing that their money is safe and that no individual has enough power to pull out. To the people on the video conference, it may end up restarting in about like 5 minutes or so. If it does, I'm just going to get right back on, and you can just get back on as well. Paragraph 14, broker account. As mentioned before, we will have a brokerage account. I don't know if we want a broker. We may not. That's, again, something that we can discuss. There are benefits to it, but at the same time, there's other things that aren't beneficial to it. I think, personally, that if we all take advantage of the education or all play our parts in going out there, just learning different things, then we may not need it. But, I mean, if it makes everyone more comfortable, then we can try a broker in the beginning for, you know, their expertise and their opinions on certain things. But we also have to remember that the broker is gonna charge fees, and whether we gain money in the stocks or lose money, we'll still have to pay because they get paid first. But that's just something to think about whether we want to or not. But even before we officially launch everything, I would want everyone to have just a basic understanding on the stock market, since more than likely that will be where we start off with the investments until our pot grows more and we can start investing in like bigger tax liens and eventually foreclosed homes, real estate, tax deeds, things of that nature. But we'll just get a basic understanding of options. So we have several people that are experienced with that. ETFs, which is a great thing, especially if you like the diversity of mutual funds. You may like ETFs. It's pretty much a mutual fund without the fees and without the overhead.
What does ETF stand for?
It slips my mind right now.
No worries.
I'll get right back to
It's
it.
like a mutual fund?
It's you can pretty much put the money in a particular industry, or like for example, you have like the S&P 500. Since you can't directly invest in the S&P 500, the S&P 500 actually has its own ETF where you'll be invested in on all 501 companies of the S&P 500. Or you may want to have an ETF in technology or in one of the food or whatever it is that you want. Agriculture. There's ETFs for all of that. Even there's ETFs for foreign exchange. If you don't know much about just the exact currencies of others, you can just buy ETF in just foreign exchange generally. Yeah. You can buy ETF in gold. You can buy ETF in different commodities.
Water.
Huh?
Water.
And there's pretty much ETFs in any and everything. I have one site that I pay for that. Once we start everything, everyone will have access to that breaks all of this down great. You can put in the ticker number. The ticker number is just the symbol of whichever stock that you're interested in, and they'll tell you everything from the management, whether that stock has options, whether that stock is in debt, whether it's in an uptrend or downtrend. But this is one great resource that we'll be able to use. And let me just add, like, that's one of the benefits of an investment group. You may have some resources, you may have some resources, you may have some resources, and we're willing to share it, you know? And it just makes it a lot easier, because now instead of just one person, we have 10, 20, up to 25 to 30 members all sharing their resources and all sharing that knowledge, so it just covers a lot more ground. Paragraph 15, no compensation. No partner shall be compensated for services rendered to the partnership except reimbursement for expenses. Again, that's to protect the SEC, to protect us from the SEC. We can't be paying somebody on the outside for anything. It's just, if you take on a particular position, then it comes with it. That we will have some type of reimbursement for expenses. So if you're coming out of pocket for certain things, then it's not going to be just a hit on the individual. But as far as like just paying somebody for playing the role of president or secretary or treasurer, that's not going to be possible. Paragraph 16. Paragraph 16. Additional partners. Additional partners may be admitted at any time upon the unanimous consent of all the partners, so long as the number of partners does not exceed 30. We may decide 30 might be a little too much. We may decide 25 or 20. If that's something that we'll feel more comfortable with, then that's something that we can, come together as a group and discuss. They definitely do need. We do need a cap on how many people should be allowed at a particular time, especially for the beginning. Maybe, once we get this one out the way and we want to relaunch this again in another 3 years, maybe now more experience, we may want to do it up to 50 members. But for right now, just to control everything and just to keep the diplomacy and the learning process going, I just think that's a number that's easier to work with. 16A, transfers to a trust. Additional partners may be admitted. Transfers to a trust. A partner may, after a given written notice to the other partners, transfer his interest or her interest in the partnership to a revocable living trust of which he or she is the grantor and sole trustee. That's just another benefit for each partner here. If you feel more comfortable having your interest as a trust, you have that option. It's part of the clause. So again, we're just trying to cross all our T's, dot all our I's.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
And I'm not wishing this upon anyone, but what if something fatal were to happen to? I'm not sure if it's in there or not.
It is actually.
Okay,
Yeah, it is. So, we're actually gonna get to that in a few more paragraphs.
All right, cool.
16B is removal of a partner. If for whatever reason, we feel as if like somebody's not playing their part or doing things that could end up endangering the partnership or endangering our interests within the partnership, then we come together as a group and we decide on whether we would like to remove that partner or not. Again, this is a business, so even if we know each other on a personal level, we can't do anything that's going to be endangering anybody within the partnership, because again, this is for a bigger picture. This is so we can help provide for our families, so we can quit our 9-to-5s if we decide to start our own business and live out to our dreams. So if individual selfish actions endangers that, then we are in our right to remove them from the business group.
And we should be aggressive with that.
Absolutely. We again, this is a business. Business can be cutthroat at times, but again, if we all play our part, if we all come here knowing what the end result is, knowing what our goals are, and are truly passionate about those goals and achieving those goals, then we shouldn't let anything get in the way, especially somebody else's lack of, appreciation towards us, because that's pretty much what it is. It's not even a selfish thing. It's more so like they're endangering it for anybody else. If somebody's doing something illegal or something like that and it endangers us, then we are in our rights to remove it to, again, protect us. If you could just give me 1 second just so I can log back onto the conference. While I'm doing this, does anyone have any questions or comments or anything that they want to add that I might be missing?
You were recording with this one?
Yeah, but after the class I was running out of memory, so it's all
Okay, cool. Are you able to, because I got some members that are not here, it's people that I invited.
put it on YouTube.
Are you going to be able to put both of them?
Yeah.
And combine them?
We have
Oh,
some
okay, cool.
recommendations. We're gonna decide.
Are you a media person or you hook things up? Oh, okay.
Nowhere near it.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I was asking.
These phones do everything nowadays.
Okay.
They got an app for everything.
Cool.
Yeah, I wish I was more tech savvy because I would have had this up already. You know what I mean? Like, what do I do?
I'll see if I know anyone.
All right.
They don't even got to be a member. If they could just show us.
Actually, we have
things up.
Brian right here. He actually wasn't able to introduce himself, but he's the tech savvy.
Oh,
Matter of
yeah.
fact, while I'm doing this real quick, Brian, you mind introducing yourself?
No problem. My name is Brian. I'm here for the same reasons y'all are here. I want residual income. I'm tired of working for someone else and making them rich and, barely keeping my head above water. I am getting into videography and photography, so I have a camera, getting mics and stuff of that nature. So if we ever want to, do anything for the group, I'm here. I'm ready to utilize any talents I learn or any information that I have. I just want to get with a group of like-minded people to make money, and just kind of get out this loop. I feel like a lot of people we get a 9-to-5 that pays us just a little bit more than the average. And we feel like, what, I got a good job, 401k, and we're there 30 years, and you're wondering what happened, with the time in your life. You didn't get to really enjoy it. You just made a CEO richer, and they just kept going. They change CEOs every 5 years. You just see they leave with 10, 20 million, and you got a dollar raise. I'm good. So
Done with that.
yeah. So even now, it's like I'm mad I couldn't come earlier, but because I have a job where they tell me when I can leave, when I can go, and I hate that feeling. I'm looking for freedom. So
Straight.
yeah,
Absolutely. All right. All right, thank you for everyone's patience. We're back up. So, yeah, we ended off with removal of a partner. Paragraph 17 is termination of the partnership. If we ever decide that we want to end the partnership, of course, that's not the intentions of anything. But again, it's better to be proactive than reactive. We actually discuss how to go about that and what happens with the funds and everybody's interest. It's pretty much the same as once we dissolve at the end of the contract through whatever proportion of contributions that you've been putting in. That's what is given to you. Paragraph 18, voluntary withdrawal of a partner. If any member decides that they want to, they feel as if it's not working for them and they want to leave the group, then again that's within here also. I think being that with some of the investments that we have, for example with the tax liens, which I discussed in the last meeting, some tax liens may have a redemption period for a year or so, up to 3 years, with the redemption, with some of the redemption periods. Of course, we're going to stay away from the ones that are for 3 years, especially since in some states you can have a redemption period of 1 year with as much interest on it as 36%. So it really makes no sense for us to do a 3-year one that has only an 18% and have our money tied up for such a long period of time. But if a partner decides that they want to leave, but some of the money is tied up within the tax liens, then we give them 80% of what's owed to them. The other 20% we release once that money is given to us. Again, that's to protect the group and to keep everything running accordingly. If for whatever reason they just need more than that, we could come together as a group. But one of the things may be that the money that's tied up, they of course don't get the interest that's been gaining on it. So they could have been waiting for 7 months, and it's just another 3 more months until that money is released. But if they need the money right there within the 7 months, we'll give it to them, but they don't get that interest. So that's just yeah, it makes sense, right?
Are there any penalties for leaving early?
For leaving early, the penalties, I think would be best. Again, we can decide this at later on, but it'll be, you get paid 95% instead of the 100%. Only because when you withdraw your money early, you have to pay on the capital gains that you made. So if the tax is 3.75% or whatever it is, then of course we can't give you 100% and then leave the tax burden on the other members that are sticking it through. So just to be proactive with that, it's gonna be like a 5% penalty. Let me just look at here real quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, yeah, I think I covered everything with that. Paragraph 19, death or incapacity of a partner. In the event of the death or incapacity of a partner, such an event shall be treated as notice of full withdrawal, and funds in the capital account will be debited to predetermined beneficiary. Your money is protected. We're not in this for any type of, in a few years when we have a few $100,000 in assets, we still have to be the same people. We still have to care for the same thing. We're doing this for each other, you know. So of course, if somebody passes away and they have a child, we're not gonna want to keep the funds in there. Like, oh, more funds for us. Like, of course not. Before before we officially launch everything, everyone will have written out the beneficiary that they will want if something were to happen to them. Of course, knock on wood, but if something were to happen to them, where would you want us to send your money to? Who do you want us to give your money to? And we are held within this contract to make sure that person gets it. And we will want you to tell that person, if anything happens to me, I have so-and-so % in this money here. You're going to have the booking information every month. So it's going to be up to date. Like, this is the most recent amount that I have in there. If anything happens to me, they already promised that you'll get whatever is yours. And just as simple, that's what happens. We hold our end, and if in worst case scenario.
Could it possibly be a primary and a secondary beneficiary, or just a primary?
It can be both. It can be both. Whatever. Yeah. It'd probably be better to have a primary and secondary. Yeah.
Just till it's two. All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because anything can happen. Again, God forbid, but it could be a car accident, and you and the primary can end up in it. Then yeah, it's good to have a secondary. We may even want to do a third.
Okay.
The amount is up to you.
All right.
And we just go through that list from 1, 2, 3 on down to whoever is left to get whatever is invested.
So we could put each percentage for each of them, like let's say we want the primary to get like 10%, the secondary to get like 20, or like stuff like that.
I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If anyone didn't hear, June, he asked if anything were to happen, can we have it whereas one beneficiary can get 10%, the other beneficiary could get 20%, and breaking down that way. And yeah, like I said, I think that's a great idea. So that's definitely something that we can include. But this will be established before we even launch anything, just to protect each individual within the group. Paragraph 20, terms of payment. For that one, I have referred to book. So let me just look here. Oh, well, that's pretty much what I just covered with you. Just in the case if anybody wants to withdraw early, then how does it go about? Is there any penalties with that? Again, of course, the tax burden is on whoever has to withdraw. One option that they can have, if somebody wants to stay invested in the stock market, you can actually transfer your securities from the joint brokerage account that we have into an individual one that they have. That way, when you do it that way, you don't have to worry about paying the taxes because you're not pulling out the capital gains. So that can be an option also. We may decide that the officers within the investment group may want to make it so that that's how we handle withdrawals, just so we don't have to deal with the tax burdens. So that's an option.
I think that's a good option, just to have it on the person. Basically, we shouldn't have to worry. If we want to withdraw, I don't think we should have to worry about like the penalties and stuff.
Yeah.
That should be on the person that's withdrawing.
All right, perfect. Paragraph 21, forbidden acts. No partner shall, A, have the right or authority to bind or obligate the partnership to any extent whatsoever with regard to any member outside the scope of the partnership purpose. B, I'm sorry, can y'all mute your phones, please? Thank you. B, except as provided in paragraph 16A, without the unanimous, paragraph 16A is just additional partners, without the unanimous consent of all the other partners, can they assign, transfer, pledge, mortgage, or sell all or part of his or her interest to any other partner or other person whomsoever or entity into any agreement as a result of which any person or persons not a partner shall become interested with him, her, in the partnership. That's pretty much just saying you can't sell your shares to somebody else. From the way we have it within the getting additional partners, the person has to be voted in. So just if you decide that you want to sell your share to your cousin, it can't go that way. That cousin needs to be voted in just like anybody else. So that's one of the benefits for the original members, the members that are here on these calls. We don't have to worry about voting in or anything like that. We are the original members. We don't have to worry about seniority taking place over us or anything like that. So, but that's just a good clause to have. So again, it's just to protect everyone.
Mac,
Yes.
so Mac, you're saying they gotta stay within the group?
I'm sorry.
Like repeat the last three sentences, Mac. I didn't hear you.
Okay, forbidden act, except as provided in paragraph 16A, without the unanimous consent of all the other partners, can they assign, transfer, pledge, mortgage, or sell all or part of his or her interest to any other partner or other person whomsoever? Or can they enter into any agreement as the result of which any person or persons that is not a partner shall become interested with him or her in the partnership? So
Okay,
yeah, you just can't.
understand.
Yeah, so you just can't share your like let's say you have 10% equity within the investment club. You can't just sell your 10% to anybody else. You honestly can't even sell it to another partner because that clause that we have where no partner can own more than 20%